Welcome to my little red kitchen. Just getting ready to make some breakfast here, and I really like doing cooking shows, but I haven't done it much lately, so we're going to cook a little bit. We're going to cook. You know, I learned a lot of Spanish in the kitchen, so maybe I'll let you in on a few of my secrets that I learned while I was learning a little bit of Spanish, and we'll cook some good grub. Fantastic. All right. So we're going to start off with some salsas. And you're going to see it all happen from beginning to end right here. I'm going to move myself over to the side, which I never do. I got my beans all ready to go. I don't know if you can see my clove of garlic in there. But that's all ready to boogie. They're hot. Okie dokie. And my knife is sharp. Hope you can hear me okay. I'm waiting to see if they play my request on the radio. Might happen. Fantastic. Hey. All right, first of all, let's make some coffee. Got to use these stingers. You know, my kitchen's plumbed for hot water, but it's not hooked up yet. It's one of the things that I don't have. I only get cold water. And in Mexico, nobody drinks tap water. They say agua de tubo, water from the tube. So we buy our water at the Purificadora or someplace. My little kitchen's all electric, by the way. It's very modern. Okay, this is the nicest house in town. It's really rustic in a lot of ways because we are in the villages. We are in the jungle, basically. I mean, if I took a picture outside, there's trash blowing around, agriculture, you know, sheep, horses. I get out and ride the horse. It's one of the things I do. All right. So, I'm making my coffee. This is actually a press, so I do press coffee and make real coffee, but we've fallen back to the Triari, so we're drinking instant, which, even though Mexico produces as much coffee as it produces, most of the people drink instant. And sometimes I do too. So it doesn't take long for that to heat up. And then we'll have our coffee rocking. Can't cook without a fresh cup of coffee, right? So I'm going to make my own salsa. And that's one of the cool things that is going to be included in this video is the salsa making. So in Mexico, there's generally fresh salsa on the table all the time. It's either in a molcajete or in little salsa bowls. It's really Tex-Mex, our tradition of having a big bowl of chips. All right, Space Ghost, you cannot disrupt my camera. You cannot climb up there and disrupt my camera. I know that's your favorite place to hang out. Here, you can go out. You play outside. You stay. Yeah, Space Ghost the cat knows how to climb up and get into all kinds of places, but the camera's there, so he'd just love to mess with my wires. It's one of his favorite things to do. Mess with Uncle Sam's wires. Okay, so my water's boiling. So we pull out the stinger. And I can make my cup of coffee. Hopefully without burning myself, right? Even to have water all the time, I had to build a water tower. And so, like most places in Mexico, unless you're really in a high rent district, the water's not on all the time. There's not water service. So I built a water tower, and I have water under pressure all the time. But, you know, that took some doing. It didn't happen overnight. my quasi coffee. I'm a little bit of a coffee snob and a little bit of a coffeeholic, so this is really beneath me, but we are missionaries and we deal with the hand we're dealt, right? Okay. Fantastic. Hopefully it's not too hot. All right. On to the main movie. We are going to... When I built these electrical outlets, everyone said, "Why do you have so many electrical outlets?" The fact is I use them all. I only have 4 here in my kitchen. And because I cook electrically, that takes a lot. All right, so we're going to make toast here first. This is a bolillo. Oh, we got messages. Let's see what we got. Hey, Holly's on here. Oh, God bless you, Holly. You're welcome to come visit me. Holly and I had just finished our broadcast series together on DID, MPD, in the Bible. It's a really groundbreaking series. And this is part of what I'm doing out here at the ends of the earth, is preaching on taboo Bible doctrines. Who knows that Jesus came to heal the brokenhearted? Well, a lot of the new Bibles don't have that. So Holly and I did a series on it, 7 parts or 9 parts. And hopefully we'll print us a book, because there's a lot of people that need to know what the Word of God says about MPD and DID. Alright, this pan is so small, I'm going to make my toasts one at a time. And then get started on our salsa. There's going to be a lot of tricks of the trade involved in this salsa lesson. You know what? I'm just going to do it over here so that you can see it better. Yeah. Alright. I never cut here, but today I am going to. Gonna move your dog water, Logan. Alright. So, first off, we're gonna make some radishes. And a very common garnish is to have radishes marinating in like some vinegar, something like that. I use the radish for a lot of things. It just makes simple food very interesting. And in Mexico, there's a lot of subsistence living. It's not only the missionaries who suffer. We suffer because the people are suffering. And so stuff like this makes simple food interesting. These radishes are a little hot, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them in a little bit of vinegar, and we'll let them steep in that. Alright, see how my toast is doing. It's coming along. Alright, so I just cut these thin. Boom, boom, boom. Can't exactly use the Dr. D cutting board method here in this spot. Maybe if I move over all the way. There we go. That's a little better. So that'll make anything interesting. So these bolillos, that's a lot of people's breakfast, is a piece of bread. I actually, on the street, some kids washed my windows, and I said, "Hey, I don't have any coins to give you." I said, "Do you want a bolillo?" And I pulled out the bag of little pieces of bread. And those kids said, yes, we want a bolillo. So I gave them each a piece of bread or 2. They cost 2 pesos or something, a nickel or whatever. Alright, so there's my first piece of toast. Good to go. Bing bang. My radio's not too loud, right? You're not gonna bug me about playing music on there. Can you hear it? Can you just barely hear it? Because I'm listening to see if they play my request. All right. One thing I really miss about my home in Chihuahua is I had real butter all the time from Mennonites, German-speaking white people. I asked the guy, because he was very white, I said, "Do you speak English?" And he said, "No, I speak German." He said, "My one daughter speaks English. You can speak English with her." Teenager, you know, a kid. And she did speak a little English. She was learning it in school, but the Mennonites, her dad, he spoke Spanish and German. Alright, we're almost there. I'm going to turn the heat off. Okay. And then we're going to get on to our main salsa movie. I'm going to put a little more vinegar in here. Alright. So we've changed the world from right here. You know, I didn't have this place where I could record earlier in the year. That's why so many of my reports are in the coffee house or on the street, background noise, dogs barking, stuff like that. I finally finished building this little casita Peliroja, and it's insulated, and so it's a lot quieter here. I can get a lot more broadcasts done. It's a tiny house. If somebody comes in here and they're 6 feet tall, they have trouble moving around. It's really made for little people. So you're welcome to visit me, but you'll have to watch your head when you come in my door, because the door is only 5 feet 6 inches high. All right, now then, let's get to this salsa. So I do have real butter, but it's totally store-bought, you know. It's not like the Mennonites used to make for me. Butter and cheese, it was just unreal. So that's something that I really enjoyed, and now I do not have. All right. So, the Americano, when they're thinking of salsa, they're always thinking of the tomatoes. And we have tomatoes, and we're going to include tomatoes today, but you don't always have tomatoes. It can be just chile. And you know, a lot of people that live in villages and have a subsistence diet, it's tortillas and beans. And a lot of times they make the tortillas out of there. They grind the corn, make the tortillas themselves, and then that's their food, is beans and rice, or beans and tortillas, and then the whole idea of the chile is it makes that simple food interesting. Or the rábano, the radishes. So we've got that, but there are a lot of ways to make salsa, and a lot of times it's just straight up pure chilitos. It's just chile. I'm gonna see if cut right here, if we can get a good angle on that. I think so. All right, so let's do that. Bing bang. All right, we're not going to cut this first. We're going to cut the onion first. And what the wise old Mexican told me is that there's a chemical reaction between the onion and the lime. So a lot of salsas are vinegar based if you don't have the citrus, but we have lime, so we're going to go ahead and make it out of limes today. There's a chemical reaction though between the lime juice and the between the lime juice and the onion, so it takes the fire out of the onion. And I probably will cry for you because I'm very sensitive to these. All right. So here we go. Try to get them chopped fine. See how we can do here. I kind of take my time at everything in the kitchen, so I never worked in the back end of a restaurant, as you can see. People that have done that, they move a lot faster. Of course, Dr. D is the egg flipping and fast chopping king. We're going to make some eggs here too. Alright. So, bien picada, they say. Very well diced. Oh, that's a lot of onion. Okay, fantastic. So here, now our limes. I don't have a lime squeezer. When I left out of Chihuahua, I gave away most all of my household stuff. My kitchen was much better equipped. My German steel knives, very hard to get in Mexico. Anybody want to buy me my little red Victorinox knife from my kitchen? I think the Peliroja would like that knife. They're 700 pesos. You know, the Apostle Paul says, I know how to be abased and I know how to abound. So, you look on my reports and on my files, I'm in all these sophisticated places with sophisticated people. Nice cars, pricey food and all that. He said, I know how to be abased and I know how to abound. And it would do everyone good to hang out a little bit with people that are subsisting. You never know, you might go through a hard time, your nation might go through a hard time. It's kind of inevitable at this point. Somebody was telling me about their duck hunt. He said, so I went out and bought the new camouflage generation 4 or 5 or 6 of a certain camouflage pattern. He said, because we were going on this hunt and paying $500 a gun to go on this hunt, duck hunt, one day. He said, so if we're going to do that, we might as well pay for the camouflage that the guide recommended. And that's true. Of course, my response to that was, poor people taught me to hunt. People that it was not a game for. He said, that's cool. Well, it is cool. But it's also cool going out with guides and professionals and, you know, having pricey gear. That's all cool. Why did the apostle say that he could live in both worlds? Because it's important to live in both worlds. And if you don't know, this is the 4th chapter of Philippians. Right after that, he says, I know how to be abased and I know how to abound. I can do all things through Christ that giveth me strength. All right. And he also scolds the people that got to live where they like to be, you know, and around the people that they like to be around, that they needed to not forget those that were on the cutting edge. Because the apostle, sure enough, was on the cutting edge, was about to go to his death. Okay, so this is the reaction with the lime and the onion. So out of all the ingredients, that's the only part that you really have to get right. Other than that, the order doesn't matter. But you really want to put the lime and the onion together. And garlic. If you have garlic, you know that's in the onion class. So same thing. That would go directly with the limon, the lime. All right. So now that's not going to make you cry. It's not going to be so pungent. It just tones it down and makes it manageable. The onion, which is really aggressive, right? You know what's really hard to get here? Salt without fluoride. This salt is fluoridated. That's why it's over here and I don't use it. It says right on it, iodized, fluoridated salt. So you go to the little village and all the little kids' teeth are busted off. That's why. But I shop around, buy cool kid salt. Let's try one of our rabanos. It's pretty good. All right. Put this over here. Jalapeno peppers vary. Some are hotter than others. Some of them are really tame. The jalapeno is really not a really aggressive pepper. The serrano is a little hotter. I like to use serranos and salsas and stuff because unless it's a really hot jalapeno, I'm just kind of beyond that. But I really don't like the other habaneros and stuff like that. We use a lot of chiles though. We use chile de arbol, chile de monte. It's one of the things you learn about in Mexico is that there's a lot of different kinds of peppers. Just put in a pinch of salt there. This is my sea salt with no added fluoride. Alright. Groovy baby. Super cool. See, I don't get in that big of a hurry. All right, when you're dealing with these peppers, you really don't want to touch it. Anything beyond a jalapeno, and even a jalapeno. You know, you touch your eye or any sensitive part of the body after cutting them, that'd be a bad thing for you. So don't do that. Just use this and make yourself a little glove. Just that is worth the price of this whole video. A couple of serrano peppers will make a nice little salsa. Okay. And my first step is going to be to de-seed the peppers. So we open this up and there's all the seeds. So we're just going to take that out. Just skin it like a fish. Work around there a little bit. And then, of course, there's a scraping phase also where we just scrape that out. This side's got very few seeds in it. So we just scrape them down. Fantastic. And then same on the other side. I bought this knife for 100 pesos, and it's indigenously made, so it's a product of Mexico. It's got a little aluminum handle. And it doesn't hold an edge very long, but it's little, and until I get my Victorinox one that I want, this is my daily driver in the kitchen. Alright, so there's my seeds. And here's the peppers, so I'll just scrape that off in the trash. If you want a hotter salsa, keep the seeds. Leave them in there. And it'll definitely make a more aggressive salsa. A lot of the heat is in the seeds. Alright. So here we go, here we go. Check my angles so you can see what I'm doing here. Here again, I kind of do this in granny gear. Last one. I don't know if everybody's listening to my new radio show on Monday nights, Living by the Sword with Pastor Sam and the Gospel Gunslingers. It is a lot of fun. It's a blast. And it's totally uncensored. So we get into things there that we could never get into on this platform. We talk about all the upheavals and overturns in Latin America. You know, there's deadly riots and government protests. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. Some of them are communistic. Alright, I'm going to move this over, cut on my actual counter. There's no wood underneath of this metal, you know, so it wibbles and wobbles. So I like to get these pretty fine because they're hot. For me, a real chilango will not be intimidated by these peppers, but for me, they're a little on the hot side. So I like to dice them up a little bit. Get a little bit of a finer dice. A little bit finer. Really, that's going to be fine right there. All right. All the ingredients are in the opening slide. But here again, if you want to add some avocado, you can add some avocado. If you wanted to add the radish in here, you could. If you wanted to put in, you know, a step down from the jalapeno is Anaheim peppers. So you can get a couple of those guys. And a lot of times if I'm cooking for Americans, I'll make the salsa heavy on those Anaheim peppers, or Anaheim with a little bit of jalapeno, and the jalapeno will give it a little bit of bang. So then I just throw this away, and I'm not gonna burn myself or somebody else, right? Yeah, you just scratch your eye after cutting those without the glove. You really screwed up. All right, let's make Logan's breakfast first, because I don't have the food that he likes. So we're gonna make him a subsistence favorite of Mexico. Alright, we take some old tortillas. And you can fry these into chips too. It's something I do. You just cut them 4 ways. So here we go. If I were making chips, you just cut them that way, cut them this way. And there's your chips, and it's so easy to do. You just get a deep fat fryer or a pan that has a little bit of depth, and you just throw those guys in. Keep your oil hot, hot, hot. And of course, myself, I'm using electric heat, which doesn't have the BTUs of gas heat. So if you have the ability to use gas when you're frying your chips, that's better. But I'm going to make these a little smaller. And then this is called miguita. Las migas are the little pieces of tortilla. So they mix that with an egg, and that's how it goes. So here we go. I'll stir that up for Logan. Get a little bit of heat on. He likes his onion salt too. He likes his garlic powder. Okay. Are you hungry, big fella? Alright. Let's go ahead and get an egg flavor out. Put a little more oil. See how my store-bought butter is? It's okay. Tastes like margarine. Alright. It's alright, Logan. I'm going to make you your breakfast. Great big old hound. Alright, so here we go. Put the miguita in here. Stir it around. See what I'm doing over there? Yeah, he's going to want his onion salt for sure. So the people of Mexico, this is how they prevent wasting food. They take their tortillas that are starting to get old and they stir them up with eggs, and this is a very common breakfast. So much so that even in the expensive restaurants, you know, downtown Mexico City, they'll still have this on the buffet, even though it's all rich people. So someone on the rancho here asked me, Sam, when you're in Mexico City, do you all eat meat every day? A very interesting question. And I said, we like to eat meat every day, and it's an important part of our training for myself as a martial artist, and for my host, who's a wrestler, professional wrestler with this pro card. I said it's an important part of our training, but we also know that to eat meat every day costs 200 pesos at the carniceria. Well, that's a lot of money for somebody out on the ranchos. That's $10 US. And we're talking about, you know, a whole significant family. But at the breakfast buffet, a lot of times it's 200 or 300 pesos just for one plate, where the cool kids hang out. Up to, in the Gringo Hotel, 600 pesos plus tip. 600 pesos. And of course, the reason that she asked that is people on the rancho do not eat meat every day. A little bit of eggs. lentils, a lot of beans, rice. So here we're kind of bridging the gap between some subsistence food and some more cool kid stuff. All right. Are you hungry, Logan? Are you getting hungry? Now he'll hear me stir the dog food, and Logan will actually get up from where he's at. Are you hungry? Are you hungry, big fella? There he is. And Logan knows that he cannot just tear into the dog food. He knows there's something he has to do first. Are you hungry, Logan? You have a kiss for Uncle Sam? All right, all right. Eat your breakfast. Let's see. I know he doesn't like this kind of dog food. Oh, it's all right, isn't it? Yeah, it's all right. Okay, so now I'm going to make my eggs. And we're just going to run a basic sunny side up movie or a quick over flip. Okay. And it's starting to get hot, so let's bang it out. Hoorah. Alright, so while those eggs are cooking, that is when we are going to finish up our salsa. With the cutting of the tomatoes. How's your breakfast, big fella? Is that all right? The only person around here that speaks English is Logan. So if I want to speak English, he's the one I have to talk to. The fact is I forget English a little bit. I try not to, but it happens. Eggs are coming along. They call these jitomate. It's a saladette tomato. It's actually more common in Mexico than what we think of as big round red tomatoes. In my experience, they are pretty interchangeable. Some of the saladette tomatoes are actually pretty big too. The prices have gone up astronomically on a lot of things. It's really hurting people that are on a subsistence level. The price of beans doubled. The price of flour doubled. Here on the rancho, there's pretty much flour tortillas made every day. I just cut out that little part of the stem. Can you see that? I just whack that out while I'm slicing it. So Logan ate his tortillas off the top and left the dog food. This is not the kind he likes. Alright, here we go. We're close. Oh, close to being ready here for the big flip. I'm just going to do a manual flip here. Because I don't have Dr. D's Kung Fu to make the perfect egg flip. The perfect aerial egg flip. You know, this place, when it was given to me, was totally junked out. No windows, no door, no real walls. It was hurricane damaged, termite damaged. The roof leaked. Starting with the roof, I fixed all of that and rebuilt my little casita Peliroja. Alright. So there we are. There's our salsa. And then we'll put together our plate. Nobody refrigerates eggs in Mexico. They just don't do that. Fantastic. How's that look? Considering we're deep in the jungle, we're deep in cartel country, I think we're doing all right. Thanks for coming along. God bless you. Hey, everybody, share these channels with your friends. We've been blocked from the beginning, and any help to just get us some exposure is very helpful. Listen to my new radio show, Living by the Sword. It's on WBCQ and WRMI Monday nights. You can also get the archive, t.me/Living by the Sword. And we teach the Bible. We have a lot of fun. We play a little bit of rock and roll. So come along and let's have some fun. Pray for me. Sow a seed if you can. GospelGunslingers.com has all the donate buttons. I feed a lot of hungry kids, is the fact. I'm just going to take this off of here. The fact is, I feed a lot of hungry kids. And in addition to my political work and my news reporting and everything like that I do, I have to travel. There's places that I have to go. I really need to not be stuck on the rancho. So really think about it. I want to be your pastor. I want to be your missionary. And I'd like you to really consider that, partner with me, and pray for us and help us financially. And hopefully you'll get the tools that you need to survive what's coming on the earth. And hopefully survive it in a little bit of style, you know. Suffering's overrated. If we can mitigate it, we should. All right, friends. God bless you. Keep in touch. Bye-bye.